Hello and welcome back to Post-Match Pint. Today, the topic of discussion is our most hated clubs that aren't our rivals. So, for example, Aaron is a Villa fan, he can't say Birmingham or West Brom. For me, I'm a Leicester fan, so I can't say like Forest or Cov. I'm basically just going to talk about why we hate these clubs. We're going to pick two each and basically just explain why we hate them. I'm going to let Aaron get stuck in with his first one.
Okay, so choice number one. This has, I'd say, blew up a lot more in the last year or so. Well, the last 2 years, because I'd count this season and last season. And it's got to be Leeds.
I think that'll be a lot of people's picks.
Yeah. Well, I know like Leeds fans like to say, "Oh, everyone hates us." Well, there's a reason everyone hates you, because half the time you scumbags. I'll go into more detail. I'll go into detail why, as a Villa fan, I'm not a big fan. Well, last year, obviously, there was that very controversial match we played against you, where Bielsa gifted us the goal after what happened. What a lot of fans don't know about that situation was, probably 2 minutes prior to that, Villa were having an attack, and they kicked it out of play for a Leeds player that went down around the halfway line. So it was pretty much the exact same situation that Leeds were in. And Leeds player down the wing went to kick it. Well, he went to look like he was about to kick it out, and then he played it down the line. And then obviously you saw what happened. And then also in that, Anwar El Ghazi got sent off because Bamford just turned around and dived on the floor. The assistant gave him a red card. Obviously that got lifted so he could play the next game, but still, we were down to 10 men for the last 10 minutes. That game was just a shit show. Leeds obviously were saying, "Oh, we're only playing to the ball, blah, blah, blah." Well, if you saw that Leeds team in the 70s, they probably would have headbutted someone who said something differently to something like that. Obviously, no one's liked them since the 70s as well because of how they used to play. And then, including to this season, lots of comments I've seen from Leeds fans, especially about the coronavirus, is they don't care about people's lives if it means Leeds get promoted. They literally every single comment is like, "You can't cancel the season. It needs to go on. I don't care. We don't care how many cases people get. It needs to get finished." Basically, they can't hack the fact that Derby beat them last season.
I mean, it's like Cov today have been like celebrating in the streets,
Yeah.
like literally not social distancing at all. Like fucking hell, it's Cov. You're homeless. You're literally a team of tramps, and you're celebrating League One.
You don't even have a stadium.
But I don't know if you've seen the film The Damned United.
No, I haven't.
It's about Clough in like his heydays, like Forest manager and stuff. And there's like a whole bit about like Leeds being dirty, basically.
They had a massive rivalry, yeah. Before he joined Leeds, he used to chat shit about them. Then obviously he joined them, but he only lasted like a few weeks.
Yeah, it's a really good film, so I recommend it if you get a chance. The Damned United. It's got Martin Sheen as Clough, so it's quite good.
I watched a documentary on Clough, so I know a bit about the 70s Leeds team.
But yeah, they are dirty. I mean, I think a lot of people, if they got asked this question, Leeds would be in a lot of people's top three. Yeah. I mean, I've never really experienced Leeds because, like, Leicester have always kind of been in like a different division of them for like the majority of this time. And like, I suppose you probably had more Premiership experience with them, and obviously, well, saying that, they got relegated in 2003. They went down. Haven't they?
Yeah, early 2000s it was. Yeah, so yeah.
Villa, so, I mean, you've not exactly had loads, but
we've had a fair chunk, obviously, before that as well, because they were in the top division for God knows how long. But they're very, very arrogant. Like, especially when Villa got relegated, they would still say they were the biggest club, but I mean, they're really not compared to Villa. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Their trophies, like, they've literally won so little trophies compared to Villa. Like, I don't know how it's an argument. But then, especially this season, all I've seen is them talk about Villa going down and Leeds going up. Like, I don't know what's that about.
Obsessed.
They're not even right. We're not even rivals. You're a one-club city. Go bugger off somewhere else. We're in the Midlands. We're not even in Yorkshire.
I'll move on with mine.
That's my reasoning on Leeds.
I think that is the solid reason. I think my first reason is probably like you. There's probably a little bit of similarity there. The second reason, not as much. The second team even. So my first team that I hate the most, other than rivals, is Tottenham. And the reason being, this arose mainly during the 15-16 season. as you all know, Leicester City beat Tottenham to the league, where they came third in a 2-horse race. And ever since, I think I've just realised how scummy them and their fans are. I think it goes really under the radar.
Well, they're a London club. That says it all. North London.
that is true. I just think they just seem to be arrogant. I don't know what they've got to be arrogant about. Leicester probably are more prestigious in terms of trophies at this point. I mean, other than like in the dinosaur period. But, I mean, they've had an FA Cup in the 21st century. We've had a Premier League. I'm sorry, what would you rather have, Aaron?
Oh, that's a silly question, isn't it? I don't think I need to answer it.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't really know why they're getting big-headed. And at the time, there was that interview, like you've probably seen it, where that guy is a Spurs fan. And he's like, oh, we're going to win it. We're going to win it. Leicester are nobodies, and Arsenal, like, you know, they're miles behind. You know, he even says, do the maths. And then they ended up going third, which is atrocious. And the game that made me physically hate Tottenham was the 2-2 draw with Chelsea that made us win the league. Because it showed that their mindset, they didn't deserve to be champions after that performance. Both Chelsea and Tottenham got fined for that game. But if you actually have a look, it's like, I know Costa's always going to be a bit of a nutcase. But other than Costa, a lot of the Chelsea players were unprovoked, and Spurs were provoking them or fouling them a lot more. I mean, they had 11 players carded in that game. The only person who didn't get carded who started the game was Hugo Lloris.
Like, I don't think you can blame them for that.
I think you
can. They were throwing everything at that match. I know, obviously they drew it and Leicester won it in the end, but surely you'd want your club, if they were challenging for first still, no matter how slim that chance, you'd want them to stick their legs in.
Obviously, you would want them to stick their legs in, but they were just dirty and just acted like babies. It didn't even seem like they were trying hard. They were just throwing a temper tantrum more than what it looked like to me. And I don't understand why Chelsea got the same fine as Spurs, because Chelsea,
I don't know. Chelsea didn't really do much wrong.
I've even got a little bit of a soft spot for Chelsea from that game, because they won Leicester league. I know we 90% would have won it the next game anyway. So all we had to do was beat Everton, and we ended up beating them 3-0 anyway.
Yeah.
But just that moment, I think it was almost nice to have Chelsea do it, because I suppose it meant a lot for them as well. Like, a lot of Chelsea fans were celebrating because they stopped Tottenham from winning the league, and obviously
the London club,
so that was fantastic. And just ever since, there's just been a few things, because I've seen Spurs quite a lot. I bet Spurs probably in the top 3 teams I've seen at the King Power the most, if you don't include Leicester. And I just think that their team play and everything, I just don't understand. Their fans, absolute freak cases. They're always like champions of Europe. You'll never sing that and stuff like that. When you haven't even won European competition, you got to your first final. Until last season, Leicester had got to the same stage that Tottenham had got to in their history, which was the quarterfinals. I don't know what it is with Tottenham fans. They seem to have this ego when they've not seemed to achieve anything. And don't get me wrong, I think Harry Kane's a great player, but I just love shit. I mean, it was a great moment when Johnny Evans took out Harry Kane in the game we beat him 2-1 in this season. It was almost like celebrating a goal just because it's Harry Kane. I actually quite like him. I think he's a nice bloke and he's a good player, but it's just, England man. But I think I've pretty much summarised why I don't like Spurs fans, and they just seem to think they're God's gift. The one thing I will compliment Spurs on, though, is that stadium. I really want to go to the stadium.
Oh, it's beautiful. It looks beautiful. I got a family member who's a Spurs fan. We watched.
Are they alright?
Well, it's my second cousin's fiance.
Oh, that's alright then.
But he's really nice. He went to Spurs' ground for the Champions League final. He didn't talk to me about it after. But we went pub to watch the Liverpool's game against Liverpool at Anfield when Spurs' sub-keeper, what's he called? Is it Gazzaniga or something?
Gazzaniga.
Yeah, well, how do you say it? He was making these mad saves, and it was 1-1, I think, at half time. And he was like, "Oh, we've had a good half." I was like, "You've been battered that half." It was just funny.
But they showed nothing when we played in this season. Harry Kane scored a pretty good goal on the floor. That's the one thing I took away from it. But the second half, they were just non-existent. Arsenal were the same. Both teams seemed like they were happy with a point. And at the time, I know Leicester were doing well, but if you were a Big Six club, you wouldn't be going, "Oh, I want a point from Leicester." I mean, I'm not like trying to look down, because I know we can, and we're good against the better teams usually, but it was just disappointing. Like, the only teams that have really turned up against us this season are Liverpool and Man City, and admittedly you in the cup games. Everyone else kind of looked for a point and got lucky or something like that. I mean, in many ways, in the cup games, you even did that, especially the second leg. But
you got to do it.
I mean, put it like this: you played like Tottenham and Arsenal, so it can't be too bad. Right, who's your second pick?
Well, if you saw my background, it's Ibrox, and my second pick is Rangers.
Rangers?
But no, Celtic.
Celtic.
Plot
twist.
No, it's Celtic. There's many reasons why, but obviously I prefer Rangers over Celtic in England, although I'm a Villa fan, but I do like Rangers, so I do follow them, see how they do, watch the matches every now and then if I get the chance. But yeah, the reasons for I don't like Celtic is, well, obviously they're Rangers' rivals, but also like they're very much arrogant, I find, and especially this season I think they've really proved it. Well, basically, obviously because of the coronavirus, all the seasons have been put on standstill.
It's a finals league anyway, so they'll definitely get cancelled.
Well, yeah, it's just the top two league. Like they were celebrating everyone voting Rangers to the third tier, and it's absolutely ruined their league. It's put them years behind everyone. People only watched it for Rangers Celtic, and then when Celtic won it for 3-4 years in a row because Rangers weren't there or weren't at the level, the league was so boring. At least now Rangers actually challenge for the title a bit, although there are still a few points off. But now, obviously because of coronavirus, I know the league's they've been awarded champions, but leading up to them being awarded champions, they were absolutely hammering in the press, all their players, the manager, everything. They were all saying, we deserve this title so much. We have all these points, no one can keep up to us on points per game. No other club in the coronavirus outbreak said they deserve to be champions. Not even Liverpool, who are going to be champions. Yeah, fans did, but not Klopp or the players or anything. You didn't see Salah post. Yeah, you didn't see Salah posting how they deserve to win and stuff, whereas the Celtic players were doing it. I just couldn't stand them for that. Also, they do IRA chants, which obviously isn't very nice to British people.
Had you not picked Celtic, I was planning on using Celtic as my second choice. The reason being for that is obviously we took Brendan Rodgers from Celtic, and some of the comments I saw from Celtic fans were absolutely horrible. They were like picking at Vichai, all sorts, and they seem to forget that, you know, in the early 2000s they literally did the exact same reverse of Martin O'Neill before he went to you.
Yeah,
literally the exact same. Him up and took him off our hands. And at the time, we were, you know, we'd been in Europe with him. We'd won the League Cup. You know, he was doing well for us, and then he went there. I mean, I've got no problems with Martin O'Neill at all, because he's in our top 5 managers of all time, no doubt about it. And
so I think he's probably in well, in my lifetime he's definitely in there, but in my dad's I think he's 5th on Villa's.
I mean, Remy Gard's your number 1, obviously, but
no, it's Bruce.
Oh yeah, that doesn't surprise me. But yeah, just some of the comments they made, they were just absolutely vile. They really didn't react to Rodgers wanting to go to a better opportunity that well, because I wouldn't manage Celtic any day of the week over a lower, like a Burnley. Burnley has more prospects than Celtic, better money, better achievement. To get like what Dyche did to get Burnley into the Europa League qualification a few years ago was outstanding. That's much more of an accomplishment as a manager than winning the league every year with Celtic. Like Brendan Rodgers, don't get me wrong, I love him, he's a great manager for us. But any manager could have gone there and won the league every year, if I'm honest.
He had absolutely no competition. Rangers weren't in it for 2 seasons when he was there, I'm pretty sure.
Arguably the third and fourth biggest Scottish clubs of all time have also been relegated in that time in Hibs and Hearts. Because like the only other competition really would be Aberdeen. And I mean, that's who's been second for the last few years. but they're nowhere near the standard of Celtic, and no one will be. I think Rangers still have about 2 or 3 years until they'll compete with Celtic again.
I agree. I thought this year might be the year, but they've dropped off significantly. The only thing is, to keep up with Celtic, you've got to win every match. But I can't see how the fans enjoy that.
No.
How they enjoy. There was no competition for a few years. Like, how would you enjoy yourself for that?
It makes it not worthwhile. If you win every game, it's boring.
Yeah, exactly. This is why Man City have trouble with their fans and stuff, because they're just too used to winning.
Yeah, I mean, the Celtic are just. I've never had anything good to say about it. To be honest, if they were in the English football, they'd be like a probably top 6 championship side, in my opinion.
I think both Rangers and Celtic would be championship sides, but if they were to be in English football eventually, I'd say within 5 years they'd be in the top half of the Prem because they're that big clubs.
They just need the money. They need the oil money.
Yeah, that's it. Their squad ain't good enough for the Prem at the moment. I don't know why they say that argument, but after English money comes in, it's a whole different story.
Yeah, because someone will want to take over them anyway.
Yeah, although it'd absolutely cripple the Scottish League if that happened.
Oh yeah, Scottish League wouldn't happen. It'd
be like the Welsh League that's non-existent because Swansea and Cardiff are in the English League.
Yeah, half of the Scottish League wouldn't get into League One, to be honest.
Yeah,
I'm being genuine. I don't think the smaller clubs in Scotland would get into. They'd struggle in League One. So, I mean, if Celtic and Rangers only can hack it in Championship, I can't see teams like, I don't know, Partick Thistle or Everton in League One. I think they're in the 2nd division now in Scotland, I'm not sure, but either way they wouldn't hack it in League One, even though they're Prem status in the Scottish Prem. But
Hearts wouldn't have. They're shocking. They were shocking this season.
Oh yeah, they've gone down, haven't they?
Yeah, they've gone down.
They're going to court about it, aren't they? Because they would have said that they could have got out. But
they were only a few points off, I think. So I mean, it's perfectly justifiable, I'd say, to go to court over that.
Right, so for my second pick, and maybe this is a bit unfair, my second pick. I don't actually hate this club, but there's definitely a lot of fans out there that I do hate from these, and it is partially. I mean, again, I can't really say too much bad because part of the reason is this because Leicester fans had them on strings. But my second club would be Everton. The reason being is, again, Everton fans still mention Leicester in tweets now from when we beat them in the cup and in the league in before Christmas. They're still butthurt about Leicester when they always say they don't care about us when clearly they do. This started because Leicester fans were singing songs about Boris Johnson and songs.
Oh God, yeah.
And it makes me laugh because I always see Leicester.
That's because people from Liverpool, they're all Labour voters, all of them.
Oh yeah, that's why it was feed houses and stuff.
Yeah.
But the thing is Leicester's actually a 90% dominated by Labour anyway.
Leicester's a Labour city, yeah.
Labour dominated city, but I mean, it still made me laugh because we had them on strings. But again, the things I saw because of that were violent, targeted people, which I know we haven't been much better because we were initiating stuff. But it's just mad how much we're in their minds and how much they can't. There's a specific Twitter that I won't mention, but he literally is still tweeting about Leicester to this very day. He's quite big on football. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, he's literally
yeah.
And not just that, because Everton seem to think that they're a better and bigger club than us, which maybe they were 10 years ago, but right now Leicester are phases above Everton. They've not looked good for a few years. Leicester have looked like they could get into Europe since we've won the league, other than one odd season. We've looked like we might get it every season. I know we came 9th twice, and that was no fault of ours but Wales, but there's definitely been times where can you name a time that Everton have looked better than Leicester in the last few years?
Not from what I can remember. Last time I remember Everton being good was back when Villa and Everton used to finish 5th and 6th 3 years in a row under Moyes. That's the last time I remember Everton being good. They
haven't been good since Moyes went, to be honest. I mean, Stephen Pienaar, I used to really rate him. That South African winger, I used to call it them days. And now they're just
Cahill. They used to have Cahill. He used to be really good for them.
Yeah, and how much they've spent? They've spent so much money.
They've spent so much money. They've really poorly spent. Iwobi,
I think they've
30 mil, 40 mil. Not worth it.
It's like I'm trying to think. Richarlison, I think he's quite a good player, but he weren't.
I think he's a good player. I think he's probably one of their best signings. Sigurdsson's not. I don't think he's very good.
Sigurdsson's 50-50 because one game is really good and then the next game is crap. But you've got to look at their best players right now, and they're like people who've been there for a while, or their products of their academy, like Calvert-Lewin, who's their best player by far. I think Lucas Digne, actually, the left back, I think he's
good.
But he has off moments. Pickford, we spoke about him in the last video. He's prone to mistakes, but he can be all right sometimes. But the rest of the team's either injury prone or just non-existent. There's not many players from Everton that I'd take at Leicester. Probably Richarlison, because we really need a winger really badly. Maybe Calvert-Lewin as like a Vardy replacement in the future, maybe. And probably Digne, especially if Chilwell goes. But other than that, I don't think we'd take anyone. Coleman's injury prone all the time, and we don't need a right back. That's probably our strongest position.
Nah, you don't need Coleman.
Because we've got Ricardo and Justin, so we've got really good right backs. But I don't know. They're just a team that I don't hate them. Maybe that's a strong word, but they're definitely like a pet hate. Like, do you know what I mean? Like a little niggly away pet hate. And I'm looking forward to having them like come to Leicester again, so we can see what happens. We'll probably lose now. I know we beat them, didn't we? The latest game we beat them was when we got that VAR decision at the last minute with Iheanacho scoring.
Yeah.
And that was a class moment. That's when I ended up on some random guy's back. But definitely Everton for my second pick.
I've got no problems with Everton. They're all pretty nice about Villa, so they all. I think all the top 6 clubs are pretty nice about Villa, so I don't really have any peeves against them. I don't really like Man City, but that's purely just based on they're a bit artificial. That's all.
So with Chelsea, though, really.
Yeah, Chelsea are. Yeah, exactly. But I grew up with Chelsea being good, so I don't feel it as much as Man City. But obviously, people that are a bit younger, they'll feel the same. Nothing different about Man City.
What's your opinion on Man U? Because I know that there's always been like some really weird beef between Man U and Villa.
I don't think there's any beef. There's more like there's like a lot of mutual respect. Obviously, Villa and Man United were the first people to challenge for the first Prem. Villa came second, so. But we've got the worst record in Prem history against Man United. We literally lose them all the time. We rarely beat them. Cup finals, everything. We did beat them in the '94 League Cup final though, which was funny. But yeah, I've got no beef with Man United. Man United got no. Especially this season. Other than obviously them begging for Grealish, when they talk about other stuff, they're pretty respectful about Villa being a fairly big club and whatnot.
That's just Man U. Man U just beg for any player.
Yeah. Well, apparently not even in for Grealish anymore because they might go for Kai Havertz.
Even Leicester have been linked with Havertz. Can't see that happening.
No, you're gonna have to spend a lot of money. He'll go for a lot of money. So.
Oh yeah, 85 million is his price tag, and I'd say if anything, I could see him going for more. But I think we've summarised that pretty well.
Yeah. Well, we've both had pet peeves of clubs based on clubs we either follow or support. Like me for Leeds is personally because of the last couple of seasons with Villa, and Everton and Spurs are purely because of situations with Leicester.
Yeah, I mean even Celtic, like Celtic is a Celtic. Does anyone like Celtic who isn't a Celtic fan?
I don't know anyone who's a Celtic fan anyway.
No, I mean if I had to pick an abroad team that I hated, it would be Real Madrid. But I
hate Real Madrid.
I don't
like PSG either. Hate PSG.
But it's not like a physical hatred for Real Madrid, but it's just something that I'm like, ugh, them.
I just prefer Barcelona.
Yeah.
Honourable mentions, Newcastle, because I don't know why you always talk about Villa, and stop thinking you're bigger than Villa because you're not. You have a big stadium. You won a trophy in the 50s. That's it. Bye.
I mean, if I had to pick an honourable mention, this is like really being really picky, but I'd probably say Wolves, just because the season they came up, there was obviously no other Midlands teams So that it felt like they were trying to like force a rivalry with us. But also, I mean, in the early 2000s especially, there was actually kind of like I wouldn't call it like a rivalry, but like a thing between Wolves and Villa. There was like a bit of, I'd say like tension. We also kind of something with Chelsea as well, just from like fans and stuff. But I mean, I haven't really got a problem with Wolves, to be honest. I don't dislike them, but if I had to say an honourable mention, if we asked this question years ago, then it'd be a different story.
Neither. I think they've got a very good team. I think they have good players. I just don't know why they talk about Villa all the time. West Brom are your rivals. Stop it.
Because West Brom are shit.
Yeah, but they're going to be coming up probably, so just focus on them.
Yeah. The Midland scene in the Premier League might get good soon.
I really hope it does, because they're most of the original clubs that form the league are from the Midlands.
Yeah, I mean Derby is one of them, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Let's get Brighton, Bournemouth and Burnley out of the league. Replace them with Forest, Derby.
I'll tell you what, I'd even happily have Blues in the Prem if it meant Villa was still in it.
Yeah. Obviously. I mean, I'd love to have Forest, Derby and Cov in the Prem, because it gives us someone to get 6 points against each season.
9 points.
9.
Come on, you said Derby, Forest and Cov.
I meant like from one of them teams that get 6 home and away.
Oh, right, I got you.
I was so confused. I was like, 9? We played each other 3 times? Right, I think we've summarised that pretty well.
Yeah, I think we have. Hopefully we don't make any enemies, and hopefully we don't end up on Twitter getting bashed by people with accounts of Marco Bielsa's profile picture.
Oh, fucking Carlo Ancelotti.
Oh no, or we get a Pogba one maybe against us, I don't know.
Neil Lennon.
Yeah, oh god. Oh, don't get the Celtic ones on you. They'll threaten to kill you.
They probably will.
Yeah.
I'll make more vid jokes. Right. So, thanks for watching. We'll be returning in the next video with fullbacks.
Yeah, fullbacks for the England squad.
And we'll see you in that one. Goodbye.
Okay. Bye-bye.